Okay, let's do this video. This one is about self-connection. I guess are you able to be your own twin flame?
I was yesterday.
And today?
Yes.
Okay. Do you need anybody outside of you to be connected to yourself?
No.
Do you ever put responsibility?
Yes.
Why would you do that?
It's easier that way.
But
well, it is. Well, I'm not gonna lie.
What do you mean?
Was you looking for something different?
No. You caught me up guard. I'm sorry. Wait. Okay. So you're saying. Explain your answer. Explain your answer. That's all I can say.
Look, I have a lot of responsibility.
I know. I know.
A whole lot of it.
Okay.
We have children. We have businesses. We have a home. I don't need any other responsibility. So it's easier just to hand it back.
Okay. All right. But we're talking self-connection. Let's really look at when you look at a connection to yourself, this will show up in your relationships, this will show up in your career, this will show up in how you do things. This shows up in how you're actually getting, if you're watching this video, this is actually showing you how you're getting through life right now. And is it self-connection to not feel good enough?
No.
Really?
No. Well, you can't be connected to yourself fully and be not good enough or feel like you're not good enough.
Well, okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Did I misread your question?
No. Actually, it's really interesting because you could love somebody, then you could have, not good enough. Mm-hmm. How does that actually work?
It just flows.
Well, does it flow or does it end up showing up the way that you're saying?
Eventually, it ends up coming back at you.
So,
but in the moment,
you can investigate lots of things when it comes to the connection you have to yourself, but you're going to investigate it through the connections you have in your life, right? Yes. Or in this kind of very powerful connection, it's going to bring out everything that you're connected to and everything you're disconnected to at the same time. So what is self-connection? It's more of an exploration of everything you've never let go of. And you told yourself you did. Because it's easy to let go. Is it? Easy to let go of anything?
No. So
when people say let go...
That's words.
You keep doing that.
But it's just words. I mean, you got to let that go. Okay, cool. But nobody ever really tells you how to do it, if it can be done. You need to, you know what? You need to let that anger go. Sure, go away, anger. You need to let that hurt go. Oh, okay, even easier. Go away, hurt.
Is it possible to be connected to yourself and not know what your own anger is?
Yeah. Yeah, but...
So you don't even know what you're letting go of.
Right. The whole letting it go thing.
Yes, that would be Mike. Hey, Mike. Mike, don't yell about people being connected to themselves.
Yeah, Mike's making him. I'm self-judging my blue hair. You want to know why I have blue hair?
The blue hair because...
I have blue hair because my 4-year-old granddaughter told me to dye my hair blue, so I did. Because when the 4-year-old tells you to do something, you do it.
That's her favorite.
You do it. The 4-year-old tells you to do it. You do it.
Yep. All right. So in self-connection, there's always going to be a reflection of how you're connected to yourself with somebody outside of you. It doesn't matter. Friends, family, even pets. Pets will show you. I think it's...
kidding me.
No, you didn't turn off the bells and whistles. Even in those kinds of connections to yourself, they're going to be reflective of how you are towards yourself. So, one of the things that we've discovered deep in this connection, as powerful as this spiritual connection is, it's really reflected to me how I am connected to myself. Whether it be, everybody wants to talk to Lee and share Sherry, but nobody wants to say anything.
Right.
It's like, for example, sometimes I find that I'm like sitting there talking to myself and I'm saying bad things to myself. And then I'm like, wait a minute. And then when you come around, it's really interesting because the energy that it transmits is that you're going to say something to me that I'll get triggered in, but I was already triggered because I already said something to myself. We don't ever expose the hidden triggers we do to ourselves. We always want somebody outside of us to be the cause of it. But it's usually inside, isn't it?
It always is inside.
So how can I be connected to myself if I'm not paying attention to that first? I'm always paying attention to the outer connection. Separation. Does separation come from self-disconnect or self-connect? It's funny because it can be both.
Yeah, I was just getting ready to say that.
And we've seen where it shows up as both. We've seen where it shows up as almost it's elusive to the other person. But think about what we went through and all the things that we've gone back and forth with. There's more times than not, you're looking for me to be your disconnect before you're looking for me to be your connect. Mm-hmm. And same with me, right? Mm-hmm. But then when we talk through it, we realize there's something else going on. And we gotta kind of have to stand back and wait for the other person to reconnect to themselves.
That's a process.
So what is...
You've got to do a lot of waiting.
You know what? I actually realized that waiting... I realized something about waiting. Waiting actually makes you uncomfortable. It's a... No, let me tell you why. If I'm standing there, you feel overwhelmed, right? Mm-hmm. And you're like, okay, he's waiting. Now you feel under pressure. Uh-huh. But I realized I don't like waiting. So I just would rather just stay over and be in a different space and not even think about anything because it's much more peaceful.
Gotcha.
Waiting is probably one of the... I mean, it's a very uncomfortable feel. I don't know if you've ever paced when you're waiting for something.
Oh my gosh!
That's what it's like in this connection. Like if I'm waiting for you to catch up or come to me, I find that I start getting really aggravated because I've got a timeline that you're not even thinking about. Just as you would have a timeline if you're waiting for me to do something. It's almost as though we're making time into a part of our connection because of what waiting represents. If you're waiting for your twin to wake up or you're waiting for your twin to realize that you guys are deeply connected, you already have a timeline that they're feeling and they're going, I'm never going to get there. It's almost the pressures of waiting.
It is the pressures of waiting.
I mean, how do you, if you sit around and you actually make this connection into a time-based thing, you're already disconnected from your own connection to yourself.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's so easy to disconnect from yourself.
It is. Well,
it really is.
You actually depend on other people to stay connected to yourself. And it's so many different directions.
So many things, though, to what we don't do when we're younger. And I was getting ready. You know where I was going with that. Mm-hmm. The whole friends thing. I'm just going to say what we do.
I know.
If you watch Friends, you get it. But we do that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. We do that. It's, what we don't do when we're younger is we don't take responsibility. We're right, and that's it. And how we say it, our opinion, we're right. What we do, how we do it is the correct way. The fact that the rest of the world don't get it. Right? But as we get older, right, I have at least put into place, wait a minute, what is my part in this? Did I have a part in this? Even if it's the bad stuff, like, okay, I had somebody recently tell me I have control issues. If he would have said this to me 10 years ago, I'd have been like, no, I don't. But you know, as soon as he said it, I'm like, I'm clearly aware that I have control issues, okay? Right. And then proceeded to explain to him why I have control issues. And then, it stems from, obviously, my childhood and the way I was raised, but also being in abusive situations where I had no control over myself, over my body, over what was happening to me. Mm-hmm. So then there is a part of you that says, a part of me that says, I'll never be controlled again. I'll always have control of everything that goes on in my life.
Right.
And then when you relinquish them, it's very easy to do when you're parenting too. Mm-hmm. You've got to do the dishes today. And then they go in there and they do them, 10, 11 years old, and you realize that they're all screwed up and you've got to do them again. Instead of teaching them the lesson and making them do the dishes again, I'll go and do the dishes and put them away.
Right.
Because why did I even ask for help? I could have done it right the first time and that they wouldn't have had to be done twice. Right? So then it becomes a thing. There's so many things in us that make us lose our connection to ourselves.
Oh, yeah.
And control is one of them, right? If I'm not having some type of say in what's going on, I feel like I'm losing control. Then I start losing more and more and more connection to myself.
Yes.
Then it starts dwindling very fast. And it comes with a lot of different things. I want to discuss those bells and whistles before we get done, because I'm going to throw something out there to them that's going to really screw them up. But it's like that. We have so many things. And then I'll ask myself, do I have responsibility in this? And most oftentimes I'm like, yeah, I probably should have handled this differently. I probably should have handled that differently. This person could use an apology. This person, I feel, does not. Mm-hmm. Right? This person owes me an apology. Right? And I did not do anything to warrant that behavior.
Right.
And I will stand by that. Mm-hmm. Because I have enough love for myself today that I don't have to be mistreated and I don't have to be taken advantage of and I don't have to be disrespected. And those people that come into my life and want to do that, I don't have to allow that. So there's different forms of that, you know,
yes.
where having that connection to myself will avoid that type of confrontation or incident, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But then if it continues to go further, then I'm connected enough to myself to know that I don't deserve certain types of behavior. So it's kind of like a catch-22 at times.
Absolutely. Do you believe it's possible that you can have an unconscious self-connection to yourself and then have a conscious connection in your twin flame connection?
Man.
That's a really interesting question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you're unconscious about your own self-connection to yourself, of course, you're going to make this connection an unconscious one.
Right.
And then you're going to keep looking through meditations and all the different readings and all of the different things that trigger you, they're going to show up and they're going to seem good at first, but then they're going to start to become very monotonous because you keep watching the same damn thing because of the unconscious connection you have to yourself. Mm. Well, the only thing we can tell you is that there's a lot to it. I think we both have found in our connection that if you're not conscious with the connection you have to yourself, you will make this connection an unconscious one. And I don't think, I could sit here and tell you what consciousness and unconsciousness means to us, but it may not be the same for you.
Right.
For us, it's something that makes you more present or something that doesn't. The things that don't make you more present are the things that you're unconscious of. So, I don't know if that's the same for everybody. But if you're currently going through this and you're looking, why is separation happening outside of you? Maybe looking inside to see if separation is happening inside of you. That's always the best place to start, because most people will stand by and point at somebody else's ability to not be awake or aware, not realizing that you can only notice that if you're not awake and aware yourself. You can only point something outside of yourself that you know inside of yourself is actually happening to you. Otherwise, you wouldn't see it. Right?
Yeah.
Oh.
I want to address the bells.
Yes, please.
Real quick. Here's the thing. It just popped up in my mind when the phone rang. So we've been doing videos for a while now. I don't know how many we have out there. In the beginning, we made it a conscious effort to turn the bells and whistles off. And there's always some sort of device around that is laying around that we forget. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 technology devices.
Just on this floor.
Yes. So, it's hard. Here's the interesting thing. We will get messages that says, It's so distracting. Every time there's a whistle, every time there's a bell, every time the phone rings, it's so distracting. It takes away from your videos. It's so unprofessional. We never claim to be professional people.
No.
Okay, we're just Lee and Sherry.
Yes.
Here's another thing. I'm going somewhere with this.
Okay.
We get hate mail talking about please be respectful and turn your bells and whistles off when you're recording a video. Let's just say 5 of those come in. 7 come in that say, oh my God, you guys, please don't turn off the bells and whistles because you say something profound and then that bell rings at the perfect time and it wakes me up and it's like an aha moment. Every time you say something and the bell rings, it wakes me up to where I listen a little bit more. Every time the phone rings, I'm like, okay, message. What do we do?
We listen to the universe and realize that the universe and nature work together. So if you hear the running water in the background, it's a part of all the ambiance that actually kind of shows up in your connection anyway. So if all of these loud noises and distractions affect you and you're not getting the message that we're actually sitting here trying to make sure that you get, it's because when real things happen, all of those things are going on around you anyway. So just focus in on what we say, not everything that's going on around us.
My glasses.
Yeah, they're really strange. I saw them. They're kind of crooked. I think it looks good.
You would.
Well, no, the color matches your hair.
You would think crooked glasses look good.
I think it's nice.
You're a mess. Yeah. I don't know.
Better to be a mess than to be nice and neat.
This is what today's bringing, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Right here.
So what can you do for self-connection?
And what should we do about the bells and whistles? I would love your opinion. I would love it. I would love to take a poll and let's figure this out. Let's figure it out because Lee and Sherry can't please everybody. And believe me, we've tried and failed many times. It's rough. It's rough because we get hate mail and they say it's disrespectful and we don't want to disrespect you. We've even had it. That was me calling.
But that's during lives. That doesn't really happen during video.
Like, wow. Okay. So I'm curious about
the email was to confirm a session for tomorrow. Then another one, the phone call was somebody that I think is trying to say.
I don't have a problem turning the bells and whistles off. But then what if somebody's missing a message?
Mm.
Would you deprive them of their message? I don't know what to do. So, I think this is a pretty fun little poll to have, and your opinions are welcome, even if they're ones that we might not like. We like them.
Yeah, I don't think we actually judge anything.
Nah, I don't judge anything. I just think it's interesting how we get so many polar opposite messages. Turn them off, keep them on, please. Turn them off, keep them on, please. And it's equal. It's not like one's weighing in at a larger scale, like turn them off, they're distracting and it's disrespectful, or please leave them on because it does something to my brain.
Yeah, but it's kind of important to always be open to what things come your way, but you can always let them be passed through, especially if it just, nothing should ever disrupt your connection to yourself.
I agree. I think we're so used to it that it's just sort of ambiance, and when it's not there,
right?
When the bells and whistles aren't there, it's very quiet. We are currently experiencing bits and pieces of empty nest syndrome.
Well, it's
a real thing. It's a real thing. Cameron was his dad's for the weekend. The 19-year-old has moved out, and it's been super duper quiet.
Yeah.
And the bells and whistles kind of make us feel like we're at home. We are at home. Okay. That's all. I'm interested in the bells and whistles. And the self-connection is most important. But look, I'm wondering how you can be self-connected and be distracted by the bells and whistles.
It depends on how you make the connection to yourself. The connection to yourself should always be the way that you meditate. Never been about really sitting and listening to everything. But people will find this out soon enough.
Yes.
Connection is only going to be as strong as that connection is. And if you're looking to figure out how you can do things for your connection to yourself, we're on Patreon. We did Pillow Talk this past week, which was awesome.
Again on Thursday.
We did it We talked about, man, this one was past.
We
this
did
past
talk
one was
about
deep.
sexual abuse,
child abuse, the effects of that.
And your twin flame dynamic. Yeah.
Because, everything that you experience in connection always happens in connection. So we really help tie some things together. Hopefully, if you are Patreon, that really should tell you, or if you can message out here and let people know, it was an amazing thing. We're also doing root camp. We've got the retreat this weekend, and then we've got a retreat. Do we have the dates? We have the dates for that retreat, I think, right?
That retreat date is November 8th through the 10th.
Yes. So the second retreat is now. So if you're interested in the retreats, we still are looking for the Infinite Universal or the Universal 8.
Universal 8.
So
that's okay. Here's what the universe told. Yeah, the universe told me that the Universal 8 just there was two that just are fighting it. They're not ready.
Is it about?
I don't know.
It's really interesting because the infinity sign is the symbol for 8.
They're being pulled. That's
okay.
all.
Well, there's that. Okay, so if you're interested in doing that,
I know.
We got you. Root camps has gotten much more beautiful, I think, over the period of time we've done it. We're never going to be the sensible twin flames. We're always going to be the ones that connect the dots to everything so you can see connection. If you can't see connection, this connection will drive you batshit crazy.
If I turn my head this way, the glasses are straight. If I go like this, they're a little crooked. So maybe it's not the glasses. Maybe it's my actual head. That's why I'm walking around like this all day. Get used to it. It's fine.
So, I don't even know what to say beyond that.
Don't judge it. Just know that I can see.
No judgment.
I can see.
All right. We love you guys. You got anything else?
Nope, this is awesome.
All right. Self-connection. Make it your priority before this connection. We promise you it's the key.
It's really important.
A big key.
It is.
See you soon.